I still think where I was in school, because we did go to school and base, I guess, when we were like in Kansas.
Right.
But where we were in Texas, still like being right around Fort Hood, like I said, so many, huge base.
Yes.
So most of my friends' parents were military anyways, or had some military affiliation. So we were all kind of used to you've got to go in, you've got to put your best foot forward and make friends.
Yeah.
Like there was no other option. You can be a wallflower for a little bit, but if you want to have friends, you got to just, go for it. So no, I probably am the most talkative of my siblings. So, I did not find that personally very hard, but it was hard seeing, as people would come and go. Not, like I said, I had a more unique experience being kind of in the same place for a long time. But, of course, not all my friends were that way. I've had friends that have just gone all over the place since, we met in third grade. So,
yeah. And somewhere where, like Fort Hood, you have such a strong military connection, not only on base, but off base as well. So,
well, and by the time we were there, it's like everyone's parents were deploying. So, I had friends' parents in and out, and, sometimes moms were gone, sometimes dads were gone, sometimes my dad was gone. So it's just kind of like a revolving door of, even if everyone wasn't leaving, what they were going through and what everyone was experiencing. So, yeah. I'm trying to think of the exact timeline. So we did not see him at all when he was at Walter Reed. And I feel like he was probably there for like a few weeks to a month. And then when he transferred to BAMC, it was still pretty touch and go, but I think that we were kind of coming to the end of the summer, and my mom wanted to be home. He wanted to get to a spot where, he was going to have more full-time care, of course, because it was like, he wasn't going to stay and do rehab at Walter Reed. He was always going to transfer down here. So I think it was important to make that move. But I think, so he flew down and they stopped in with us in Fort Hood. And it was just it was tough. It was not good. It was probably like, we talked about it this morning actually when we were filming. And I said, I think to me, that was the most traumatic day of the whole thing for me. I think it was like really important for him to see us and us to see him, but it was like the hardest thing I've ever had to do with seeing him, because I think before it was like everyone was telling you what was happening, but it was all okay.
Yeah.
It was going to be okay. No matter what, it was going to be okay. And then it was like, they kind of prepared us. They're like, he's really skinny and he's kind of sick.
Yeah.
And then like just seeing him, he had been, I think Audrey quoted me this morning, 225 pounds and 6'4" when he left, the last time I'd seen him. And now he's, doesn't have legs. Yeah. He's a bilateral amputee. He's probably like 100 pounds. I've got pretty skinny arms. He was much skinnier than me. So it was just, it was hard to see. It was really tough. And I think it was really important for him. It was really important for us. But like ultimately, I think it was probably the toughest time to see him. So, and I think probably looking back, I think they were a little worried he was still going to die, and they were just like, he needs to see someone. He needs to see his kids. He needs to have a reason.
Yeah.
And so it was a weird time, but I guess I wouldn't have it a different way. But it was very traumatic, I would say. So
yeah. What was kind of going through your head leading up to those days of knowing you were going to see your dad again?
A lot of relief that we're still going to get to see him. I guess it's so interesting because my sisters kind of describe it differently. My youngest sister was so little, Abby, at that point. And so like, I don't really think like she probably holds a lot of trauma from it. But then Audrey describes it like she always thought he was going to die. Like she thought everyone's looking at us like we're going to be the kids that like we're going to be orphans essentially. And I don't remember feeling that way. Like I just remember just being like, it has to be okay, whatever that is. I'm not saying that's going to be good. Like ultimately, like I didn't know what was going to happen, but I was like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. So I think leading up to it, I kind of was like, oh, cool. This is good. Like, I'm glad we're going to be able to see him. And I actually think seeing him for me made it like so much more real, because I think before it was just like, you're hearing reports every day and you're getting information, but it just seems almost like it's not your your life. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. It's like, because
Yeah.
you're not seeing it with your own eyes. It's almost like, it's okay. It's going to be fine. My mom's going to go there. She'll come back at the end of the summer and we'll be good.
Yeah.
Like, she'll bring him home. It'll be no big deal. Like, it was just, it's almost like kind of an out of body sort of experience. I don't know how to explain it
Yeah.
otherwise. So,
My dad always used to joke with us that they'd sprinkle pixie dust and his leg would grow back. So
that's funny. That's funny.
he was going to go back to normal. but
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't happen.
It's never going to go back to normal, but I was going to say it easily became, you know, you and I were talking about this earlier today, the new normal pretty quickly. It's like, it's kind of insane when you think about it. Because how old were you when your dad got hurt?
I was 9.
So do you remember him without legs?
With legs?
Or with legs,
legs?
sorry. Hello.
I
Or
was,
with
like,
a
confused.
leg? Yes.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
So, like, and especially looking back at pictures
Uh-huh.
from that, like, I remember
Yeah.
most of it.
Yeah.
And then the way Mom told us that he got hurt is we had just seen Dolphin Tale.
Uh-huh.
That was the last movie we saw
Uh-huh.
as a family. And so Winter ended up losing her tail due to a crab trap. And so she was like, she was on the phone with Dad one day and she was like, how am I going to tell the girls? Like, they knew something happened because all the chaos that was happening that day.
of
They
course.
knew something was going on. And we were, like, removed from our house. Like, we moved out, essentially.
Right.
She's like, they knew something happened, but they don't know what. And I knew it was something with his leg. I just didn't know what. Because I had to make phone calls and say, hey, something happened to Dad. Like, you need to get over here. Something with his leg.
Yeah.
And so I knew that extent. And then it was Thanksgiving Day. And prior to that, she was on the phone with Dad and said, Dad told her, if a dolphin can do it, then I can do it. So, and he, 10 out of 10, he will not remember saying that probably because he was so high, but yeah, he's like cracking up over there. But 10 out of 10, he probably does not remember saying that. And Mom was like, oh, that's how I'm
That's
going
a
to tell the
perfect way.
girls. So
Yeah.
she was like, do you remember how Winter lost her tail? Well, Dad lost his leg. And sure, we cried for a little bit,
Yeah.
but then we were like, oh my gosh, he's going to get a flipper. This
How
is
cool.
so cool.
Yeah, how cool.
So,
Yeah, no, it's so weird. Because I guess, I mean, I was old enough. Obviously, I have memories.
yeah.
But when I, like, if I have dreams or anything and my dad's in them, no legs. Never.
Yeah.
Never.
Mhm.
Like, it's like that is just really, like, ingrained in how I just see him now.
Yeah.
So,
It's like the pictures are the only thing you
Yeah.
have
yeah,
of that. And sure, like the little bit of a memory, but
Yeah.
of normalcy.
sure,
I mean,
sure.
this is the new normal.
This
now,
is the new
so-
normal. I was going to say this is the new normal. So this is, yeah, exactly. This is more of the memories that I have. So,
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your favorite experiences as a military child.
it's a military. As a military child. Well, you and I are both involved in this great organization, NGS. And I would say this has obviously been my military experience after my dad lost his legs. But getting involved in like such a nice organization that really... should I do a little recap on what NGS is actually?
Yeah.
Is that better? Okay. I realized that might be kind of random. So getting involved with this organization, they provide scholarships and debt-free college to wounded and killed in action children of military soldiers. And so getting involved with NGS and having that connection after having such a traumatic event, I think it's just like been one of the most enriching points in my life. And I would say probably all of my family would agree with that.
Yeah.
It was just, you know, obviously such a tough situation. And I think could have been very daunting and very... could have been world ending for a lot of people, I think. And I think instead of it being really a negative, quite frankly, the doors NGS has like opened for us, and some of the experiences we've got to have through NGS being military children really like has been things I would just never have gotten to do otherwise. Like getting involved with NGS. I've been, you know, to New York to Ground Zero. I signed the spire of the Freedom Tower. I've gotten to do multiple presentations, been to a multitude of galas and stuff, and been able to present awards to people and share my story. And I think just give people insight to seeing that, you know, this is just a way of life for some of us, and it's all going to be okay. Like, we're all going to be okay. So I think those are some of my most rewarding experiences. Of course, the moving and stuff when we were young was fun, and you know, some of the connections you just have with people in the military. It's just so funny when you can really get talking to anyone. If they have a friend, a cousin, a brother, a mother who is in the military, you can sit and talk about it. So it's just such a nice connection to have, and it's just very rewarding.